Today we'll be continuing what if World War II started in modern day. And yes, we tried to make a parallel to World War II and with modern day nations. So all of Africa is independent, India is an independent country, Philippines is independent, using the modern day borders. It seems that a major mistake has been made. Yes, starting a war against America. America will first have to focus on the American problems as Mexico has joined the side of Germany alongside with Cuba. Both countries have basically elected pro-German governments, which means America will have to invade both countries. So the invasion of Mexico will begin because Mexico's government is so corrupt because they're basically ran by the cartels at this point in the storyline. Mexico is actually a very easy invasion, as many of the people in Mexico and many militias start to fight back against the cartels. And America has been actually planning to do this before the war even started, was to invade Mexico as well. The president of Mexico might flee to another country, but Mexico is being destroyed as well. Also, America is invading Cuba through the naval, which means the Castros will be defeated in this time, during this timeline. Venezuela's government was actually overthrown by the USA. Say before Venezuela actually was in a civil war. Actually, we got to put that. Basically, the current Venezuela government which is Maduro's government is basically being backed by Germany. Meanwhile, the government the other government is being backed by the other side. Meanwhile, the invasion of Russia starts to slow down massively for Germany as winter approaches. And Germany is not the powerful nation as it once was during World War II. Despite having basically almost all of Europe and Turkey on their side, Germany starts to basically lose the war or starts to stall in the invasion. With the help of Turkey, they do get some of the Caucasus Mountains, along with the help of Iran as well. Meanwhile, the Middle Eastern Front, they start to basically push one last desperate move here as they try to invade Lebanon and the rest of Syria. They basically get to the border of Lebanon and the end of Syria, but they can't really move because American troops have entered the Middle East. They also do attempt to take the Egyptian capital. Yes, I'm sorry I left this part as a plot hole here. And also they do take part of the Egyptian desert, which isn't really anything too special here. And they do advance Smalley and Sad here. And Southern Sad they do advance slowly. However, this might be the highest the Axis powers are ever gonna get, the best they're ever gonna get, as well. As the Axis powers they start to move here. However, the fall of Afghanistan begins. They do capture Kabul, and a democratic government, and the government basically collapses. A more democratic government is installed in Afghanistan and joins the Allied powers. This causes a problem as Afghanistan is going to be a major problem. So Iran starts to invade Turkmenistan and parts of Pakistan, basically creating a big war. India is basically seen as like the Mussolini of the Allies this time. India is failing horribly against Pakistan. However, they were finally starting to win in the Kashmir region. However, India's military failures in this series is very, very telling. Okay, they finally are starting to get the military upper hand against Pakistan, only with the help of German and Japanese, generals, which pisses off the Axis powers a lot, but they do are finally starting to at least get some advantage over Pakistan in the populated areas. And they do manage to cut off the coastal area of Pakistan. Meanwhile, the African front continues to get worse for the Axis powers. They again close at Kinshasa, the capital of the DRC, which is a very bad news for the Axis. They surround the DRC's capital, and they start to move inland into the country as well. The DRC is being defeated very badly. They also start to invade Cameroon, and also the advances the Central African Republic made in SAD were very, very short-lived, as they start to basically lose these advances. The USA, alongside with Australia, New Zealand, and some South American countries, decided to make a plan to defeat Brazil, because they have to defeat Brazil before they can intervene. The USA, of course, can intervene because they're the strongest military in the world, but all these other countries can't really intervene. So a goal is basically created to basically defeat these countries down here. First is to defeat Venezuela, so they have to defeat the northern portion of Venezuela. With the help of the USA, the northern portion of Venezuela is split into half here. And now it's time to defeat Brazil, because Venezuela is defeated, which is now, and they start to invade Bolivia and Paraguay. These countries are not very strong, especially Paraguay. They're very, very weak. So Paraguay is invaded relatively quickly by the government of Argentina. Causing this war to get even worse out for the Allied powers, or for the Axis powers. As the Trump card of Brazil is not really working all too well. Paraguay surrenders very quickly, and Mexico isn't really doing too well. They are now at the cusp of surrendering, and Guatemala switches sides, which is already very bad for Mexico. Also, Cuba surrenders. They are defeated by the United States single-handedly. And Mexico is basically defeated as well. They surrender to the United States. And a more democratic government is put into both as well. And the U.S. also arrests all cartel members, because basically the cartels wanted to be a part of the Axis, but other people did not. So the invasion of Brazil begins here, which they start to invade the more populated regions, because they realize invading for the Amazon, that's why there's no front changes. So they start to invade the more populated regions of Brazil here, which is mostly down here, which Brazil is struggling to fight the USA and Argentina. They're struggling to fight this battle, all these battles here, and they start to lose battle by battle. Zone starts to realize that they're losing the war. Okay, they're losing the war, and they lost several alliance members, and about to lose another, the DRC. The Congo is defeated, and the Congo government collapses, turning into a allied protectorate. Yeah. Okay, well, wait. Which means the Allies are now defeating members of the Axis. At this point, these two countries basically surrender. Central African Republic surrenders, which they didn't even get invaded as well. And Operation Central Africa continues, where Cameroon is being invaded relatively quickly, and also Equatorial Guinea is defeated relatively quickly as well. which means these countries surrender. They're very, very, very quickly. And Brazil's government enters into chaos because they basically sided with the wrong history this time, and Brazil basically makes a peace deal offering after Bolivia surrenders, basically giving up to the Allies as well. Yeah. Now, with North America secured, now it's time for the Allies' next grand plan to secure Africa. So, which means they'll only have to worry about Asia and European front afterwards. Japan, with their non-focus on Asia's front, Japan starts to invade even more. Alongside, they start to invade southern China as well, giving China practically no coastline. And they do finally defeat Pakistan. As well, and create a border in Afghanistan. Which means the Axis has gained a ton in Asia as well. They also start to, however, they do lose the holdings in the UAE and Oman. So they lose these holdings here. First is to defeat Ethiopia. No, to defeat Italy as well. So they're going to defeat Italy and Ethiopia as well. As basically, and also defeat Eritrea and Somaliland surrenders. Along with Eritrea, they both surrender as well. And now it's time for the defeat of Italian Ethiopia. Which that also surrenders, and Ethiopia is made an independent state. Somalia is also given independence as well. And Somaliland and Eritrea are now given independence, but they're severely punished. Eritrea loses this land to Ethiopia, and yeah. And we'll see in the next part, to see the invasion of North Africa. And that's about this video here. Goodbye.